I am in my backfield today picking blueberries. We have had an abundance of blueberries this year in our backfield. And the reason why I'm picking blueberries today is I want to show you how I'm going to make the most delicious blueberry vanilla honey jam. So let me show you how I make this delicious jam. Now listen, it couldn't be any simpler than that. Almost every ingredient is in the title except for one, and it's an optional ingredient. It's cinnamon. So you can add also in this recipe some cinnamon if you like it. I am just going to be putting a little light dusting of cinnamon because I'm not a huge fan of too much cinnamon, but we will be adding some to this recipe. Now let's get started. If you're new to canning, this recipe is so simple, so easy. It doesn't get any better than this. So let's go. To the saucepan, you're going to be adding 1.5 cups of those beautiful blueberries that you either picked or purchased. Anyone is good. 1 teaspoon of bottled lemon juice. Remember, when you're canning, you always want to use bottled lemon juice. You can use 1 vanilla bean or 1 tablespoon of vanilla. This is my homemade vanilla that I made. You can check that recipe out if you're interested in making your own. 1 tablespoon of that. 3/4 of a cup of honey. And my sprinkling of cinnamon. Just to correct, it's not 1.5 cups of blueberries, it's 1.5 pounds of blueberries. Now we're going to give this a good stir. And we're going to bring it to the stove top, bring it to a boil, and just let this cook until your jam is set. It's as simple as that. Let's get cooking. While I'm cooking down the blueberries, I am also going to prepare my canner, put in my jars, start warming this up. This is a steam canner, but you can also water bath can these. Our jam is set. Let's get it in the jars. I'm going to go get my jars that are heating up on the stove, and we're going to fill them. Now I know I haven't mentioned this yet, but I cut the recipe in half because I didn't want 3 pounds of blueberries and like this big jam recipe that it was going to make. So I cut the recipe in half. I'll maybe have 2 or 3 bottles of this blueberry honey vanilla jam. You may think it's a waste of time. I think it's actually a better way to make sure that I don't waste the jam is I make less. And if I like it, then I can make another batch. So now let's get this in the jar. Now this is definitely what you would call small batch canning. I got 2 jars, although the full recipe did say that I would get 6, but I thought I'd get 3, ended up with 2. Maybe I boiled it longer than I had to and it reduced more than it should have, but I am happy with 2 jars. So we're just going to wipe the rims off to make sure to get all the sticky jam off the rim. We're going to add our caps on top and our rings fingertip tight. And then we're going to transfer these over to the canner. We have our jars in our canner. This is a steam canner. The difference is that on this steam canner, there's a dial, I don't know if you can see, with some colors inside the dial. It's a little bit of the same concept as a pressure canner where you have to bring that dial to the certain color based on your altitude, but it's really easy. I know that I have to get to the dark green section on the dial when I can start timing. This works so fast and it's so efficient. I absolutely love it. So basically all we need to do is to put our cover on and turn up the heat. If you're water bath canning that's fine. You take a pot, you take your saucepan, you fill it with water. You have to have 1 inch of water on top of your jars, bring that to a boil, and then you start timing. So it's basically the same method. The water bath canner does take longer because it's a lot of water to bring to a boil, whereas this, there's only a little bit of water in the bottom of this pan. So let's go. So now we lower the heat and we process this for 10 minutes. The time is up. So I turn off the heat and now we just leave it in the canner for another 5 minutes before we remove the cover and take them out. We're almost done. My 2 perfect jars. So it's as simple as that. Just to give you a recap, it took around an hour to reduce the blueberry jam to where it needed to be. And I just heard them both seal, so there you go, they're good to go. And I wish you could have smelled it when it was cooking. The mixture of the blueberry, the honey, the vanilla, and that little bit of cinnamon in there, it just smelled really good. Be sure to write down on top of your jar what is in it, just so you don't forget what it is that you canned and the year that you canned it, because usually we say that you can keep your canned goods 1 year in a cool, dry, dark environment. So make sure that you write your date on your cans. Periodically go through your canning cabinet to make sure that you clear out stuff that you haven't eaten, just to make sure that we're always keeping things safe. Leave your jars on your countertop for 12 to 24 hours. Don't touch them, let them sitting. Once that time is up and you've checked the seal to make sure that they're sealed properly, be sure to take the rings off. Don't store them with the rings on. I've gotten a couple questions lately, so I'm going to explain why. If you store your jars with the rings on, they could become unsealed. It happens, jars unseal. But if you have your ring still on your jar, tightly screwed to the top of your jar, it could cause your jar to reseal, and that would make for a very unsafe product. So remove your rings, and if your jar does unseal, then good chance that you're going to catch it. You're going to smell it, or you're going to know when you open it that it's not a safe product. I do hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoy my content. If you do, give it a big thumbs up. Don't be shy, subscribe, and be sure to check back again soon to see what other content I will have coming out.